Welcome to video 3, Trim explains simply why flying feels hard without it. Flying often feels hard not because you're bad at it, but because trim isn't doing its job. If you feel like you're constantly fighting the yoke, you're not doing anything wrong. You're just flying without trim. Trim doesn't make the aircraft climb or descend. Trim just removes the pressure on your yoke. You can see it removes this pressure. So when you're holding up and you want to climb, which I'll show you shortly, it removes this. It lets the aircraft hold what you're already asked it to do. Why flying feels hard without trim. Without trim, you're constantly pushing or pulling the yoke just to stay where you want, which is at this stage straight and level. That constant pressure is what makes flying feel tiring and unstable. So trying to actually hold out here and keep it up and fly, it really does make your hands tired. All right, so we'll go over an example now. So right now, we'll go into a climb. We'll increase the power of the engines and watch what I do. All right, so the aircraft wants to lift up, so we have to constantly push forward on the yoke to stay level. Now, what should I do with the trim? So the yoke's pushed forward. Now, as you can see, that's letting it go. We're starting to go up, so we have to push forward to hold where we want to go. And then see the wheel down here, just under the yoke there. All right, I'm going to push up on the wheel. So up means down and down. All right, so if you push up on the wheel, you go down. If you push down on the wheel, you go up. So we want to go, so we're pushing forward, which means we want to go down to hold straight and level. So we keep pushing up a bit until we can release the wheel. See, now the pressure's gone and we're flying straight and level. Oh, a little bit going down now. So just tweak it a little bit here and there until you get straight and level. Right there. So no pressure on the wheel now. I've completely let go. And you absolutely see we're flying straight and level. And we don't have to touch the yoke at all. So that's what we mean. So trim. So, all right. Now we want to climb. So when I climb up to say 2,000 feet, so we enter the climb, and now I'm holding back now. I keep holding back. I will just keep climbing at this stage. And now, say if I can, now I'll pull back on the trim wheel. So we're going up, and now I can let go of the yoke. See, no pressure on the yoke at all now. I'm not holding it at all, and we're still going up. Then you can actually just, fly the aircraft without having to hold it back while we climb. So now we're climbing. So once we pick the destination, the altitude that we want, so we'll go 2.5. So we keep climbing up. All right, so we're coming up to 2.5 now, so we have to push forward now to keep our altitude. All right, so now, yep, so we're pushing forward now. We push forward first, pick where you want. So we've got 2.5, or roughly 2.5. Now we pull back on the throttle to our 23,000 RPM, which is cruise speed for the engine. And then we trim out the wheel. So we're pushing forward. So we slowly push forward on the trim, push up on the trim, sorry, until we can let go of the pressure of the yoke, and now we're flying straight and level. It's as easy as that. So just to let you know, all right, so what trim is not? Trim is not a climb control. So you don't use it to climb, trim is not a descent control, so you don't use it to descent. You always fly when you want to go first, and then trim comes second. So fly where you want to go, either straight and level, climbing, or descending, and then trim it so you can get rid of the pressure on the yoke itself. Okay. So when to use trim? So obviously after takeoff, while you're climbing, you can use the trim to trim it out so you don't have to keep it pulled back all the time. That's also in the climb. In cruise, so where we're cruising at the moment now, just flying straight and level. My hands are not even on the yoke at this stage, so quite easy there. And then also, this is what trim is really important for when we come on the approach to land. Helps you a lot if you trim the aircraft just where you want it, and then you can control the descent with your throttle, and then you can bring it how high we can. I'll show you that a little bit later on in another video. And obviously, anytime the aircraft is settled. So it's settled at the moment. We're just cruising along, just little adjustments here and there, just left and right, easy as. And by the way, we're currently flying over Redcliffe. Redcliffe Airport is obviously just on the other side of that water there. Beautiful Brisbane area. That's the nice Glasshouse Mountains over there. So beautiful scenery at the moment. All right, so how to use trim. So first, fly the aircraft where you want it. Then you hold it there. Then trim until the pressure disappears off our yoke. Okay? All right, if you're trimming while fighting the yoke, you're trimming too early. So we don't want to, start pulling back and we're not quite there yet, then start trimming. It's like, we're going too high. And then, changing again while I'm pushing down. Going too low. Point the aircraft where you want to go first. Okay, that's where we want to go. And then just trim. All right, just trim. So you can let go and it points exactly where you want. That's what we want. All right, so we'll come straight and level again. All right, so I'm pushing. What are we doing? Pushing up a bit. And then trimming out the aircraft so it flies straight and level without having to just little movements too. Don't do really big ones. Just do little movements to start with. And as you can see, we're flying straight and level. All right. All right, common beginner mistakes. Most beginners trim constantly. So you don't have to trim constantly. Only a little trims here and there. That usually makes things worse, not better. So at this stage, we're kind of, going up and down a little bit, so you can trim a little bit. So we're going up a bit, so you can trim to point the nose down, which is up on the trim. Up is down is up. All right. So you don't have to constantly trim, just so it's easily. So you just have to do little movements with the yoke. A little up, little down if you have to do it, depending on the wind as well. We're on a calm, sunny day today, so you don't have to worry over there. All right, so trim only works once the aircraft is stable. Okay, so stable your aircraft where you want it to fly, and then trim it. Okay, don't trim while you're pointing. Point it where you want to go first. Set your power first. So set the power, point the aircraft where you want to go, and then once it's there, trim it then, and then you can continue from there. Okay. So why trim makes everything easier? Good trim makes takeoffs calmer. So if you trim the aircraft to take off, when you take off, it'll help you bring the aircraft into the air and it won't fight you trying to pull the aircraft into the air, okay? It makes approaches smoother, which I'll show you very soon. And it makes landings easier without extra effort. So you're coming down, your aircraft's falling down. If you trim it perfectly good, so we'll give you an example. So we're at 3,000 now. We want to come down. So I'll pull the power down to about here, about halfway. Aircraft's starting to descend. All right, but we don't want to do, tenth, the vertical speed of 10, tenth, 100 feet per minute. So we want to do about 500. So we come here, trim the aircraft. There we go. And then see, we're doing about, what's that? That's 700 feet per minute that we're doing now. So we can go down a bit further if you want to come down. And this is what the approach is all about. So we're coming to land and say it's going to be about 3,000. So we trim it. So we're going a bit low so we can bring it up. And then you just trim it out. Now we're doing about under 5 or a bit more. Of course, the aircraft will be slowing down. And that's how you do your approach. So we're coming down very gradually. But we're still keeping our speed. You know what I mean? And all this coming together makes your landings a hell of a lot easier. Okay. So in summary, trim removes pressure from the yoke. So your pressure from your yoke, that's what your trim removes. All right, so you don't fly with your trim. You remove the pressure off your yoke, and that's what flies the aircraft and helps you fly. All right, so then the pressure on the yoke is what tires your hands out and makes you the flying hard. Flying feels tiring, trim is usually the fix. So if you're very tired and your hands are killing you from holding the yoke all the time, then that's why you feel tired, because of the you need to trim the aircraft to get rid of the pressure off your hands. So at the moment it wants to climb. I'm having to push forward. My hands are getting tired, so now I'll trim the aircraft. All right, so you trim a bit, then you pull, then you slowly let go of the yoke. So trim a bit and slowly let go. Easy, there we go. And now yet again, we're flying straight and level. We're at 23 RPM, sorry, 2300 RPM. And there you go. Another thing as pilots say about this as well, this is your cheap version of a autopilot. So some aircrafts don't have autopilot, so this keeps you level. All right. I've linked a free beginner takeoff and landing checklist in the description if you want something simple to follow. So that's in the checklist. Feel free to take a look at that. And in the next video, I'll be explaining how speed affects everything, obviously without using numbers. So simple fix of how speed helps us and doesn't help us. All right, so thank you very much for watching. Hope it's helped. See you next time.